Hi guys, I'm glad to be here, sharing a few perspectives. I'd say that what I'm going to speak about has, it's of course it's touching on why we're here, which is mobility and electric and all that. But I always want to push a few buttons here, which I think are crucial in terms of how to accelerate the transition from combustion towards zero emission and electric. One of the things that I pointed out earlier today when I was in a panel here is the fact that just because we're in electric, we cannot brag about how sustainable we are, because we're not. There's so many challenges when it comes to electric that we need to deal with. Anything from the fact that the batteries are being produced burning coal in Korea, Japan, and China. We have the issues with lithium and cobalt and so forth. But I don't worry too much about these things, because even though it's just as bad as any combustion vehicle at this point, everyone within this space knows that we need to take care. There's an obligation making sure that we get to the point where this has been taken care of. And when we get to that point, everything is going to be so much better from a number of different perspectives. So we'll see here. I'm going to speak about the purpose and how we can accelerate and I'd say to some extent inspire the market to come along and do, support why we're all here, basically going from combustion to electric. So, this is a first film that we made as we launched Cake at the Outdoor Retailer Show in Denver in 2018. And what we did was that we deliberately choose to show these bikes not at a motorcycling show or at an automotive show. We went to the outdoor retailer show with our neighbor, exhibitors would be anything from Patagonia to Kawasaki or to Mountain Hardware or North Face and so forth. So for a number of different reasons, I'm going to try and explain this to you down the road. Anyhow, what we did was basically developing a bike from scratch. And I want to start by telling you that I'm not a motorcycling geek myself. Normally I'd be going berserk when there's a Ducati passing me by in a city going like, hey, get out of here, you're disturbing. But when I first encountered an electric motorbike like 7 or 8 years ago, I realized that this is going to turn the space for motorcycling upside down for a number of different reasons. I mean, despite the fact that we have an obligation towards, matters of sustainability and so forth, there is a growing market aspiring for respect, responsibility, and sustainability together with an active lifestyle. And this is pretty much where we start our journey. So, just to give you a hint about what I'm trying to share with you guys here, which is basically purpose. This is my previous venture. That was a company still around named POC. The mission back then was to do everything we could to possibly save lives and to reduce consequences of accidents for gravity sports athletes, anything from skiers, snowboarders, cyclists, and so forth. So starting this business was pretty much an ambition to increase the level of protection and to infuse or to inspire more people to wear protection while they were doing their sports. And in that sense, I think there are so many things that we can learn by bringing purpose to whatever business we're in. Because we need to bring purpose in a landscape of competition where the consumer market is becoming increasingly smarter. There's no chance of trying to cheat or lie. We need to do our homework. It's our obligation to support the ideas that actually makes a difference for the users out there. And that is one of the main perspectives when we're dealing with the consumer market, speaking about electric. Being transparent and showing them the direction, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and also the challenges we have in this sense. So again, moving back to the business, which is Cake, the first thing I did when I realized that this, the electric drivetrain will pretty much change perspectives, I got everything there was in the market. I think I had 16 or 17 electric motorbikes from companies like established brands like KTM or Zero Motors, back then at the time, Alta Motors, together with a number of home builds, technical guys, welding things together, combining motorbike parts with bicycle parts. And what I realized pretty soon was that this is truly a game changer. I had hundreds of friends trying these bikes, and I can tell you that the interesting thing is that I had anything from world champion motocross guys jumping on the bikes, getting out in the woods, coming back to me saying, "Hey, Stefan, this is amazing. This is more like skiing powder in the woods, but there's no need for slope, there's no need for snow. It's a totally new experience." But what really convinced me in this sense and made me realize that I need to take this further because it will change the market matrix, the behavior, and opens up for a totally new, sustainable opportunity that will benefit society as a whole and inspire people supporting that and having a good time while riding bikes. That was when I had young women, never ever throughout their lives having been on a motorbike before. And I can tell you the benefits with an electric motorbike here is that you can build something which is super light. Our motorbike, for instance, is 68 kilos. It performs pretty much like a 250cc combustion engine, and it's nearly half the weight. So the lightness of the bike makes anyone, doesn't matter what physical standard they'd be in, riding the bike and feeling comfortable. You don't need to change gears, you don't need to clutch. It's like riding a bike, throttle and brake. So as long as you can ride a bicycle, you can ride these guys. So again, getting back to these young women, jumping on the bike and idling away really slowly, like scared. Helmets on, goggles on, boots. Whoops. But in 20 minutes, getting back to me at high speed, sliding in front of me saying, "Stefan, this is the most wonderful thing I've done in my life." The learning curve is like this. And thanks to the fact that this stuff, as most of the electric stuff there when we speak about vehicles, is digital, you can preset the riding modes. So if you're a beginner, you start number 1, and then as you progress your, ability-wise, you can increase and eventually go crazy. We did our first race with this bike 3 weeks ago in an enduro race in Scandinavia with 118 combustion engine motorbikes competing in that same race. We ended up in 5th place. So you can bring these guys to a performance which is just amazing. Getting back to what we did, and this is the main point here, without bragging and saying that, look at us, we're what we're doing. We're proud of what we're doing, and we do it with passion, competence, and in-depth. And again, getting back to the purpose of things. If you want to change people's minds, you need to be honest, you need to do your homework, and there's no way of cheating. So in this sense, we needed to start from scratch. We realized to optimize the properties of the electric drivetrain, we need to build something which is super, super, super light. Again, the 68 kilos I was speaking about before. So before, because of, a combustion engine motorbike looks the way it does for certain reasons. It has its wheelbase, its weight, and so forth to serve the combustion engine. In this case, and therefore there was nothing off the shelf that we could use. So we've developed everything from scratch. So anything, the only standard parts on the motorbike is pretty much foot pegs, brake levers, and rubber handles. Everything is, developed from scratch to make sure that we get the optimum performance of something like this. And this is a start for something. I mean, Cake is the first performance bike for off-road use, and there's a series of products coming to serve different needs in the market for different, individuals, their ways of transporting or commuting and so forth. So what I'm sharing with you is from a brand perspective, in the field of electric or wherever you would be today in the world in terms of addressing consumers. We need to be true and honest, ambitious, and make sure that there's a purpose. In our case, we're trying to inspire the people for a faster acceleration towards zero emission by doing something that combines excitement with responsibility. This is our most recent product, same bike pretty much, but it has been certified for street use and which is now available in Europe and North America for anyone to ride from home to work and back again. So that was my intro. I'm 9 to 20 seconds late. I got the clock here. So, is this me leaving the stage or? Thank you.